Hello and welcome to the fourth battle of week number 1 of the FNF Victory Road Draft League. This battle is going to be pitting Benji's team, which is Southern Shuckles, versus Noel's team, Hypno's Slumber Party. The Mega Pokemon in this battle is Mega Aggron, and then the Z Crystal Pokemon are Kyurem with Z Any and Entei with Z Attack, respectively. This is an interesting matchup for week 1 because it's a historical one. Last season, I also had the Season 1 matchup versus Benji, so it's going to be interesting to see how we utilize these different teams. A note, this battle has already taken place, so this is a replay. So I'll be mostly saying my thoughts at the end, not to give any spoilers. When I came into this battle, I thought that Celesteela was having a pretty good time. I just needed to get rid of Moltres. Otherwise, Celesteela walls quite a bit of stuff. And I think that Moltres was a pretty good pick for him. Depending on what its moveset is, just because it was able to pressure, it would be able to pressure Celesteela. I think he really needed a way to deal with Blissey, which Buzzwole and Mega Aggron potentially could be very good at dealing with Blissey. Having another Cleric also helps in dealing with Blissey. The big thing at seeing Blissey and Clefable on one team is, like, are they clerical? What are they going to do? And Tangrowth also looks pretty nice at dealing with Blastoise potentially, depending on what its investment was, and Golem Alola. Also in this match, once Mega Aggron went down and Clefable got a few Calm Minds behind it, it would be pretty powerful and hard to deal with. So both sides kind of had big threats, and let's jump in and see how this battle went. Alright, so we begin. The first Pokemon is Valstrax for Benji, and Kaguya, the Celesteela, for Noel. Valstrax going to go ahead and Mega Evolve and set Celesteela sets Leech Seed, and Valstrax sets a Stealth Rock first thing in the match. Some little damage done by that Leech Seed, and now Cradle's going to come in potentially to remove those rocks. In comes Yankoot the Moltres, although Cradle definitely has the advantage in this matchup, so away it goes into Plesioth the Vaporeon. Rapid Spin is going to remove rocks. Cradle able to restore to 99% with those leftovers, Plesioth to 100. In comes Clefable, Nightlight the Clefable, taking that Toxic. And due to the fact that it has Magic Guard, Toxic is not going to do any damage, so Clefable is pretty comfortable. Clefable sets up a Stealth Rock, with Valstrax comes out to scare it off. Indeed, it's scared off, and Kaguya comes back in, taking that Heavy Slam like a champ. It only does chip damage, basically. Kaguya restoring back to 99%, and dealing a Flamethrower on Valstrax, taking it down to 47%. It could possibly take another Flamethrower. Fire Punch also doing big damage on Kaguya, about 40% on each one. Plesioth comes in to take that Flamethrower though, and Kaguya goes for the Leech Seed, which is going to leech some big damage due to Plesioth's big HP stat. Plesioth staying in, Kaguya going for the Protect, and a Wish is now up on Plesioth. The Pokemon that could come in, possibly Moltres, to take on Kaguya, but it's actually Kyurem who comes in. Ukanlos exerting its pressure. Flamethrower is only going to do 21%. It does burn, but Ukanlos is damaged by the burn, but restores some health with that Wish. It's now behind a substitute, and Leech Seed will fail because of that. Ukanlos now at 63%, and an Ice Beam, a critical hit Ice Beam nonetheless, is going to hit Kaguya really hard. Kaguya's Earthquake unable to destroy that substitute, so that Ukanlos probably has some nice investment. Kaguya not having investment in attack. Serenity the Blissey comes out, strong special wall, and Ice Beam, despite being a critical hit, only going to do 26% to Serenity. Ukanlos now at 51%, but with a Roost, it will be able to restore its HP to full. Seismic Toss finally breaks that substitute, but will it be able to set up 101 HP substitutes to deal with Seismic Toss? It looks like Rajang comes in instead. Serenity goes for the Wish, Rajang probably scaring off Serenity with its strong fighting moves, so Entei snuggles the Entei, comes in, exerting its pressure as well, and Rajang goes for the Drain Punch. It's going to do about half of Entei's HP, but Entei restores its HP with that Wish. Rajang takes a Flare Blitz, and that's going to be the first Pokemon to go down in this battle, going down to that powerful, super effective move. Score is now 5-6. Valstrax comes in, and once again, another Flare Blitz, very powerful move from Entei, taking down Valstrax. The score now 4-6. Kyurem is going to come in. Ukanlos, can it go first and take out Entei before Entei takes it out? Serenity, the Blissey, comes in instead to wall any special hits, and Earth Power is going to do minimal damage to Serenity, who restores HP with leftovers. In comes Duramboros, the Tangrowth, and Blissey goes for the Seismic Toss to do a little damage on Tangrowth. Tangrowth can be quite comfortable versus Blissey because of the fact it has Leech Seed to restore HP off of Blissey's massive HP. Looks like Knockoff was prevented with that Protect, so Blissey does still hang on to its leftovers. Both of these Pokemon actually holding leftovers. Blissey goes for the Toxic, and Duramboros does indeed go for the Leech Seed. That's going to restore probably all its HP combined with leftovers. Indeed it does. The Toxic does whittle it down a little bit, but it's not really damaging that much yet. Yankoot comes out, 51% from the Stealth Rock, but that Leech Seed will restore quite a bit to Moltres, bringing it back to 78%. Wish is now up on Blissey as well, but Blissey decides to stay in instead of passing that Wish, and Yankoot is Toxiced by Blissey. So two Pokemon now suffering from the Toxic condition. Blissey restoring to 88% with that Wish, but now coming in is Dynamo, the Golem Alola, taking in an Ancient Power. Maybe Moltres trying to fish for some of those special attack increases from Ancient Power. Tangrowth is going to come in instead to wall Dynamo. The Dynamo goes for the Volt Switch, pivoting out into Snuggles the Entei yet again. Duramboros now at 79% with that Poison. Snuggles the Entei, going for a Sacred Fire. It's going to hit, taking out Duramboros the Tangrowth. The score is now 3-6 as Ukanlos the Kyurem comes in. Entei decides to stay in, going for the Sacred Fire on Ukanlos, taking it down as well. The score is 2-6. Yankoot the Moltres comes in, but those Stealth Rocks really hurt Serenity, the Blissey, coming in to take any special hits, and indeed Ancient Power was a special hit. It took Serenity now at 84%, Yankoot at 1%. The Hurricane is going to miss, and Blissey is able to take down Yankoot with a Seismic Toss and get burned by that Flame Body. The last Pokemon is Vaporeon. It's a 1-6 score. Now that Blissey is burned, it cannot be toxic by Vaporeon, so Plesioth is going to have to deal very small chip damage. It's going to be very hard to take down this Blissey for Plesioth. Both of these Pokemon being bulky, Wish-using Pokemon that have leftovers attached. Blissey does get that Toxic on Plesioth. If Plesioth has Heal Bell, then it could possibly live some more, but it does look like a losing matchup for Plesioth, as it's going to take more and more damage from Toxics and Seismic Tosses and not deal enough to Serenity to take it down. Plesioth now under half HP, but that Wish is on the way. Serenity now at around 50% HP. Still trying to put pressure on Plesioth with Seismic Toss, not going for Wish just yet. Both of these bulky Pokemon around 50%, but Plesioth's toxic damage is increasing. Both of them going for a Wish this turn, and Plesioth taking increased damage from that Poison. Looks like Blissey does not want to switch out. It's pretty comfortable right now versus Plesioth, still going for those Seismic Tosses combined with the toxic damage accumulating over time. Now Blissey's almost at full HP, whereas Plesioth is under half with Toxic still adding up. Scald's still not doing that much damage. Serenity goes for a final Seismic Toss. Combined with that Toxic damage, it will go down, and that is the game. It is a 6-0 victory for Hypno's Slumber Party over Benji's team, which is Southern Shuckles, and that was definitely a stallier match than the first match of Season 2, where we were both going kind of for weather, so we had a little bit more offensive presence. Blissey was a very vital Pokemon in this matchup for sure, being able to specially wall a lot of those hits. Something I told Benji that I think was true is that Tapu Koko would have just been his saving grace. Without Tapu Koko, Celesteela had a lot easier of a time staying in. Even with Moltres, Moltres could only switch in so many times due to Stealth Rock, whereas Tapu Koko would have been able to maintain offensive pressure. Maybe Raichu Alola would have been able to utilize that as well. Benji definitely has a really good team, and I think he's going to do really well through the league. He definitely has been able to pick himself up once he's learned his team. I think that's kind of like the trend with him. He does really well starting in the mid-season when he starts to understand his team, and I think he's really going to start to understand his team and strengths and how capable they are. I do think that... I think I lost my train of thought. Oh, and I had Blastoise with Mudsport. That's how scared of Tapu Koko I was. Keep that for the books. Let it be known that Blastoise ran Mudsport in a draft league. So yeah, really, really intense battle. Still got 4 more battles of week 1, so stay tuned for those. Until then, this is Noel from Hypno Slumber Party, and I'll catch you in the next battles.